to the UFC 320 predictions episode. UFC 320 is tonight. It actually starts in 2 hours as I'm recording this, hoping to get this out before the early prelims start because I want to watch those. Shockingly, there's actually a lot of good fights that I'm actually excited for on the prelims today, and it's a great main card. UFC 320 is one of the best main cards and just overall best cards we've had in a while. So that's why I'm making one of these videos. I was going to make one for UFC Shanghai. None of the fights really excited me too much. And then UFC Perth was a bad card. But we're going to do some predictions for UFC 320. And we're going to start with the prelims. As you see, these are what the prelims are looking like. A lot of fun fights, I think, here. Gutier versus Vines will probably be the quickest fight. As I'm recording this, Gutier is a minus 4,000 favorite, which is the biggest favorite in UFC history. I'm also very excited for Patchy Mix's fight. And Chris Gutierrez versus Farid Basharat. I'm also very excited for that too. But let's get into how you can know how confident I am in these picks. So first, I have the lock, which is exactly what I think. It's 100%. They're a lock to win the fight. I really don't see the other guy winning at all. Then I have a green circle, which is 80%, which is I'm totally expecting them to win, but it's like just not quite a lock because I could see the other person winning in some possible way. Yellow ring is 60 to 70%. It's like almost a coin flip, but I'm like pretty confident that they'll win. And then if it's an orange circle, they're probably an underdog, and I can see this fight going either way. But now let's get on to the prelims, starting with the mentioned Gutier versus Vines. That is a lock. I would honestly lock in Gutier round 1 KO. That's what I'm going with. Vines is taking this fight on like 4 days' notice. I'm glad that that they got to stay on this card, so I'm happy about that. Then we go to Edmund Shabazian versus Munez. I have Edmund Shabazian, probably I'm thinking a round 2 TKO. Pretty confident in that pick, as you see the green circle there. Chris Gutierrez versus Farid Basharat. This is one of my underdog picks of the night. I just have this feeling. I can't really explain it. Basharat is undefeated, but I just feel like Gutierrez is going to find a way to win, and I could be completely wrong about this, but I feel like it's going to be a close and maybe even a split decision, and I think it's going to go in favor of Gutierrez. Then we go to Aguilar versus Ju Sang. I have Ju Sang via decision. I am not too familiar with either of these fighters. I do know that this fight is going to be a catchweight bout at, I want to say 153, I think is what they agreed on. I'm just going with Ju Sang. He's favorited in this fight. I could see Aguilar winning, but I don't know too much about those fighters, so I'm just going to go with Ju Sang. Then we go to a woman's MMA fight, Chesan versus Kunitsakia. That's a difficult name to pronounce. And for that reason, I'm going with Chesan via decision. No, also, I'm pretty sure Chesan is one of the heaviest favorites on this card. So I'm pretty confident that she'll win via decision. Then we go to one of the fights I'm most excited about on this card with Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix in his first fight did not look very good. He looked like a punching bag. But I think in this fight, it's a lower caliber opponent, even though I don't know how to pronounce this name. But he's a former champion in a different MMA organization, just like Patchy Mix is. I'm excited for this fight. I love newcomers coming into the UFC. I'm not too confident with Patchy Mix just because of his last performance, but I still have him 60 to 70 percent chance I think he's going to win, and I have him winning via decision. Then we go Soriano and Veretennikov. I have Soriano winning by like a round 2 to 3 finish, probably like a knockdown and then some ground and pound to finish the fight in the later rounds. Soriano, I've been enjoying watching him fight his last few fights, so I'm excited to see his fight tonight also. Then you have Bramihaj versus Vanderford. Another two fighters that I'm not too um too confident in knowing their skill sets. I'm pretty sure they're both coming off of wins though. I'm pretty sure Vanderford beat Veretenikov, who's fighting Soriano. It could be the other way around though. But I'm gonna go with Vanderford. Not too confident, but I think Vanderford's a pretty heavy favorite in this fight. I'm not too sure about it. I could see Brimahaj winning, but I'm gonna go with Vanderford. And then we go to the earliest of the early prelims, and I have Veronica Hardy taking it with a pretty easy decision. This was almost a lock, but it isn't a lock because just unpredictability of a newcomer. So I'm going to go with Veronica Hardy. Now we have the main card, and this main card is looking great. I'm very excited for this main card. Um, the first two fights not too much, but then the last three I'm very excited for them. But the first two fights are also very fun. We're gonna start with the main card. We're actually gonna start in the bottom right here. Abus Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer got a hair transplant just to shave his head. That's probably the most Joe Pyfer thing I've ever heard. And I think he's gonna lose. I have Magomedov winning this. I feel like it's going to be a 29-28 decision. I feel like the ground game might benefit Magomedov a little bit. And in the striking, I know Pyfer's got power, but I think Abus maybe can use some kicks and win this fight. I'm not expecting fireworks in this fight I am expecting fireworks in this fight, but I still think it's going to go to decision, and Abus is an underdog, so that's why you see that orange ring. Then Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zalal. I have Yusuf Zalal via decision, probably unanimous, I would say. I have Zalal winning by running around in the cage and doing more than Josh Emmett. It's kind of how he won his last fight. Also, it's kind of like what Yusuf Zalal does. He's a good fighter though. He's very talented, so you can't really knock him for like just doing what he can do. So in Josh Emmett, he's getting older. I just think it's the newer generation taking it. And now we're going on to Yuri Prohashka versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. And this is the fight I am the most excited for. I actually have a slide after this, the three fights that I'm the most excited for. And I have Yuri Prohashka probably winning via TKO in round one or two. And this is not because I think Roundtree is outmatched or anything. I just have this feeling about Yuri, and I think Yuri's going to get it done in round one or two. I think it's going to be fireworks. It'll win fight of the night. Roundtree did good versus Pereira and then beat Jamal Hill. So I feel like Roundtree has a little bit of a chance. That's why it's a green ring and not a lock. But I still think Prohashka is going to finish Roundtree early. Round one or two is what I'm saying. Then we go to the co-main event of the evening, bantamweight title bout at 135. Marab versus Corey Sandhagen. And I have Marab as a lock. I know Sandhagen, he has those nice knees. He says that he's going to knee him, which was funny. But I have Marab Divashvili via decision. I feel like it's going to be 50-45, 49-46, but I 50-44 maybe even if he gets a 10-8 round. I don't think that'll happen. I would go with 49-46 as a safe bet, and I have Marab locked in winning this, and I really don't know who is going to beat Marab at 135. I think Marab is going to have this belt for a while. But Sandhagen, it'll be a fun fight. Hopefully Sandhagen can deny a few takedowns to give us some striking exchanges. But I think Marab is just going to wrestle him for 25 minutes and going to keep his belt. Then we go to the main event, light heavyweight title bout between Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. This is the second fight. The first one was pretty easily won by Magomed Ankalaev. And I think that this fight's going to be closer. I do not think Alex Pereira will regain the 205 gold, but I think Ankalaev will win by a close decision. I think 48-47, maybe even a split decision. Maybe a judge gives it to Pereira. I feel like this fight is going to be very close, and I'm very excited for this fight too. That's what I'm like. I would say I'm like 61-39 on this. I mean I really It's almost a coin flip, but I just think Magomed, based off of the first fight, how he kind of just he did what he wanted to Pereira, and I think Pereira he's going to come back better, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win the fight. So that's why I'm sticking with Magomed Ankalaev keeping his gold. Very exciting card, and now let's go to the three fights I'm the most excited for tonight. And the first one I have on the early prelims, Patchy Mix versus Jacob Willichitz. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so that's what I was going with. I tried. Patchy Mix in his first fight did not look good, but he's still a former champion over in Bellator, and Jacob was a former champion at his organization as well. So it's two former champions fighting in the UFC, trying to prove themselves as newcomers, and I think that they'll be fighting with an edge, and I think it'll be the best fight on the prelims. Then number two is the main event. Yeah, the main event isn't number one just because their first fight wasn't the most exciting fight in the world, but it still had that aura with Ankalaev and Pereira. So it's a title fight. It's a huge title fight. I'm very excited for it still. Hopefully, I can stay up that late to watch that fight. But yeah, I think watching Pereira fight is always a joy, no matter who he's fighting. But then the number one fight that I'm the most excited for is Yuri Prohashka versus Khalil Roundtree. Just looking at this graphic is making me hype. I am just when they're staring down, I'm going to be more excited than when either of the two main events are. I'm just so excited to see this fight end, because it's going to end in a finish, and it's probably going to be a crazy finish, and I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited for the third fight on the main card, and I think it's going to be a great card. UFC 320 tonight. Main card starts at 10. Prelims start at 8. Early prelims start at 6 p.m. EST. I will be watching. I hope you'll be watching too. And make sure to come back here for the UFC 320 review. That'll be coming out probably Sunday morning after all these fights happen. And that's the video.